Let's head to the voicemail of Truth and Reason.
I was looking at the Bengals, the road to the Super Bowl, and I think the one thing that was noticeable was, one, how they attacked the offseason. As far as personnel, I think we just need to find offensively a speed receiver. We need a Jamar Chase or a Tyreek Hill, like player that's going to be reliable for Deshaun. Also, the defensive side, Bengals have a great defensive coordinator in Lou Anarumo. So I think we really need to hire a defensive coordinator who has authority over a locker room. And I think Brian Flores is definitely one who has authority over a locker room. So I think he'll be a great candidate. Short, I think he will also be a great candidate, but I think Brian will pull something out of our young football players, and I think that we really do need him.
As always, appreciate all the voicemails. I think they need a different personality. I think Woods was too much like Coach Stefanski in that he's kind of laid back and even-keeled. And I think they need somebody that if something happens, they're going to go in and throw the table over in the meeting room and turn it upside down every once in a while.
Well, I think it's about different approaches too, right? Like, I'm not necessarily going to endorse somebody like having a full-out temper tantrum because I think that's more dysfunctional than it is helpful. But I do think that there are different approaches and guys who can get to guys in different ways and connect with guys in different ways that maybe Joe Woods was not able to, maybe Kevin Stefanski is not able to, and maybe Mike Prefer is not able to. Like, Stump Mitchell might be able to connect with some players, but at the end of the day, Stump Mitchell's a position coach, right? It's different when there are the senior leadership, right? The head coach, the coordinating staff. So that there, you probably need a more of a diversity in approaches there with player relationships, which is why Brian Flores seems to be really good at that, right? That seems to be something that the guys respect in there is Brian Flores. So maybe he could bring something to the table in that. And I don't know if he's necessarily Mr. Scream It and cuss guys out. Like, he's not Greg Williams, right? Like, he is somebody who is demonstrative. He is passionate, but I don't think he's a destructive guy, right? He's not going to be, just tearing down guys. That's not how he rolls with it. He will say some things, but he's not necessarily going to be cussing guys out in the sideline, things like that. But most good coaches aren't that way, especially nowadays where you can be mic'd up and everything else like that. So, it's about a different approach, right? Maybe Kevin and his confidence and his kind of calm and confident kind of demeanor, maybe that doesn't work for a player. Maybe a player needs to have a more direct approach with them, right? When it comes to language and how they're talked to. Maybe that is something that can help. Well, now you have somebody on senior leadership that can do that, at least for one side of the ball, or challenge guys in a different way. And I think that is important, right? I think being able to reach as many people in the locker room and many different personality types in the locker room, that's what's important. And that's what you can do if you hire somebody who's outside of that. Now, again, I don't know enough about Jim Schwartz or anybody else in this thing to decide that. We kind of made that determination about Brian Flores. I don't really know Brian Flores like that, right? Like, we're just kind of making assumptions here. But that is something that when they're going through the interview process, that they should really, really consider is, hey, does this guy have different approaches than me? And how can that be helpful to this locker room? Because maybe we need more approaches to more players, because clearly that's been a problem. If people don't feel like they can communicate things and then they're lashing out to the media, and this has happened multiple times the last couple of years, then you don't have enough approaches in that building to be able to handle the problems that are being manifested in it.
Yeah. The one thing is they got to get the principal too, because right now the players told you we need somebody that's going to hold us accountable.